extremely well this Sunday, the 7th of December. So I hope we're all doing extremely well, whatever we're up to. Weekend. Just got some interesting things tonight. I don't really know how the show is going to go tonight. On the basis that I'm so annoyed. People may care. People may not care. But tonight, as kind of solidified a couple of things that I think and I really truly do believe about the squad. So I'm not going to get into it just yet, because otherwise, if I do, I'm going to go on and not stop. So if you are new to the channel, please get into the chat. Please get into this amazing community. One of the best communities on this platform. As I always say, look, just be respectful to the chat, be respectful to me, be respectful to this community. Otherwise, the banhammer comes out, and we don't like to do the banhammer. We absolutely do not like to get it out. The banhammer, that is. You know, it's all based on respect. I think there are a lot of fans at the moment in a position that we don't know which way is up. Second thing to say is that I'm not a dictator of this chat. So, you know, I really do read out your opinions. I really do read out your chats. You know, it's all about respect on here. You know, even if sometimes we do disagree on certain things, it's not because I'm disrespecting your chat. It basically is because, you know, it may start off some debate and start off some chat. So look, get in there with it. Let me know where you're from. Let me know, you know, your thoughts and feelings over the last couple of days. Let me basically know what you guys have been up to, and get into the chat and let me know. So, guys, I've not been around for the last day or so. I do tend to do 1 or 2, sometimes 3 or even 4 shows a day. But you know, family has to come first. While this is not my full-time gig, you know, I do sort of work as well while I'm trying to get this channel bigger. But you know, we do what we can. So look, get into this chat, get into this amazing community, and I will tell you what I mean about the thumbnail tonight, because there has been some explosive stuff that people want. I don't think people will really give a shit about personally, because of the game tomorrow. I'm going to give you my opinion on the game tomorrow. I'll give you a spoiler alert on the game tomorrow. I really don't care. Tomorrow for me is just another game. If we win, it's gone beyond. It's gone beyond now. It's gone beyond a win. It's gone beyond this team. It's gone beyond the manager. And you know, I'm not. And we can get into the Amorin stuff as well. I think the Amorin in, Amorin out conversation right now is very, very basic. I think it's a lot more than Amorin in or out. Look, it doesn't mean that Amorin doesn't need to go, right? It doesn't mean that. But I think what is fundamental today that I think people, and again, give me your opinions on this. People have all sorts of opinions. People have their different opinions on this coach. But I think what is fundamental, what's come out today, more than anything else that's come out today, is you see what these players are. Now, to me, because I am trying to contain it, because I am trying to skirt around it, because I am trying to contain it, because I don't want to go off just yet, because I do have feelings about this team, and it is not good. Palace edits, big up JB, big up my friend. Hope you're doing extremely well. Well done on the win. I think Palace won, didn't they? Palace are up in the top 3 or 4. So cracking win by Palace. I think you beat Fulham 2-1 today. Absolute fantastic result, mate. I mean, Palace are doing amazing things. I wish that we could do the same things, but we obviously are not. So look, before I go into it tonight, before I go off on it tonight, I agree with you, Palace. Segway, he is amazing. What a fantastic player. The Onyeru says it's never as bad as people say. Post lost is never as good as people say post win. Is that an old kit? It is, my friend. This is the reversible one. This is the gold kit. That is my favourite one. Look, the only rule. Look, I'm going to give you my opinion, right? Because look, this for me goes beyond this goes beyond the manager. Okay. Today, of what I'm about to say is it just goes to show you, got to stop looking into these nonsensical statements from individuals, not actually the club. Look, I disagree. You know, this is Chris Wheeler. You know, this is Chris Wheeler in the Mail, right? This is he's not going to publish. He's not going to publish shit, right? You know, yes, I do agree that some of them do, right? And whether you agree with this or not, you can be players in. Look, I think this, right? And I'll give you my view. And look, I'm not going to disrespect your opinion, because you know this is your channel, right? And you can tell me what you think. Now, I do respect your comments, right? But you can believe in things that you want to, right? I base my opinions on what I believe to be true. And what I mean by that is, it's so obvious to me that this fits in. And we'll go through it as well, because you know other channels have gone through this today, and I want to get this community's opinion on it. But this feeds into what I've been saying all season. Look, this is a team that finished 15th last season, and UK Strange says this club is cursed. In my humble view, it's not cursed. It's got nothing to do with the curse. This is to do with the Glazers. This is to do with Ineos, that have created a player power side. And these statements that have come out today. Look, and you know, whether you are players, you know, whether you love these players, right? You can suit a rhetoric to whatever you want to, right? I am not saying here that Amorin should be in or out. I don't think it fucking matters. Now, I think this, you know, we will go through what like has been said, and whether you know that to be true or not, I think there is a basis of truth in this, because you have to understand Chris Wheeler, where this has come from, is not going to basically put out fabricated shit, because what you got to realize, as much as this not be coming from the players' mouths, but there is stuff that have actually come from the player's mouth. There is a player that has been talking, so we will go through this. And I think what I wanted to prefix this with is, look, it doesn't matter right now whether you're Amorin in or Amorin out. I've been saying this for the longest time. Stephanie is in the house. Big up to you, Stephanie. I hope you're doing extremely well tonight. And I think, look, you can be Amorin in or Amorin out, but I think what is clear tonight, what is clear today, is that these fucking waste of space players, and I'm not going to hold back. And look, if you guys like have a different opinion to me, guys, I'm not calling that opinion out. I think if it sparks off something, if you disagree, get it in, because this is your channel, and I'm not going to call you out. You know, this is a space for you to get in your views, right? UK Strange said the club has become a brand rather than a football club. Agree with you completely. If you could tell Amorin one thing, what would it be? What would I tell him? I would tell him to get out. I wouldn't tell him to get out as in you're fired. I'd say to him, mate, go and save your career. Leave this toxic. Look, he's not going to win these players over. Leave this toxic fucking club. Leave these shitty arsehole players. Leave them to it. Because what I think we need to understand tonight, with what has come out today, is these players will do it. They've done it time and time and time again. They've done it time and time again. They are absolutely going to throw managers underneath the bus. And we're going to go through it tonight, right? Give me your opinion. Look, for me, Amorin in or Amorin out is the least of it. You know, Amorin is going to do what he does, right? You know, if Amorin tomorrow plays some of these players, now that I've called him out tomorrow, he's weak, right? Tomorrow's game, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm so annoyed with these players and so annoyed at Amorin. Tomorrow's game, look, tomorrow's game, if we win, we go fourth, we go fifth. Who gives a shit? Like, we are not going to finish fourth. If we win a game tomorrow, people are going, oh, we're back in the top four, we're back in the top five. It doesn't fucking matter because we're not finishing in the top 4 or 5 with these players. I think this has been established time and time and time again. And these players will fool you. If they win, if we win tomorrow, right, we're going to win against Wolves. You've got 2 fucking points. Who gives a shit? We've got Aston Villa. Aston Villa haven't lost away, haven't lost at home for 30 odd games. They've got the best or second or third best home record in Europe, right? We've got a coach who tomorrow, if he does what I think he's going to do tomorrow with this team, I will lose respect for him. Even though I'm Amorin in now until the fucking end because of these scum players, right? I'm Amorin in on principle. I'm Amorin in on principle because I do not want these players to sack another fucking manager, which these players will do. Let's have a little look at what you're saying, but I will come back to what you're saying on Kobe out. I don't agree with it. Look, I'm not letting Amorin get away with some of the shit that he's been doing. The crap teams that he puts out, the crap selections that he puts out, his fucking refusal to change the team around. These players who are basically stabbing him in the back. But what's come out today, it's just the guy cannot win. It doesn't matter what he does now, he's not going to win. And if Amorin doesn't drop these arseholes tomorrow, then he is absolutely lost. He's lost my respect, but out of principle, I want these players. I want these absolute fucking waste of space players gone. And I want this absolute Glazers to absolutely just get out of this club. But let me go through your chats. Pep would struggle to win the Premier League at United, mate. He'd struggle to get a top 10. Hell says be flexible. We can't win them all onwards and upwards. Sky Blue Army. What about in Burma, Cunha and Lamens? Aren't they good? And look, Palace, mate, when I talk about this team today, right, there are people in this team that are new, right? And they get a pass as such, right? But they're still infected. They're still going to end up like the rest of these players. The sad thing is top 4 is there for the taking the season. To get that, we must get a maximum of 70 points. Maya says, hi. Hello, my friend. Yeah, give us the video, like, favorite, and subscribe. Hell says, honestly, if we let Amorin go, we're a sinking ship even deeper in the crap. Selection is because we have crap players to pick from. I agree with you. I thought this was 1990s Wolves too. No. This is the United gold shirt from 2002. How did Stockport get on today? I don't know, mate. I really don't know. David says, yo, JB, hello, David. I hope you're doing extremely well. So look, let's get into this, right? And look, you can believe this or not. You can believe where it's come from. You can believe whether it's players or not. People are still going to love these players. People are still going to be Amorin out. Those who are Amorin out. Aston Villa says, up the Villa, you guys are going to get at least 8th. You guys just need to be more consistent. Trust me, I'm a Villa fan. We know about consistency. Thank you, my friend. Look, Aston Villa, mate, I tell you what, right? I'm the sort of person, and this is the sort of channel, right, whereby, I like success, right? Obviously, United are my main thing, right? But I absolutely love teams, very, very historic teams that people don't understand what Aston Villa were, right? But I think the difference is that, United, mate, are toxic. It's not just about the team, right? It's not just about the coach. It's about the ownership of this club. The Glazers and Ineos have created player power, toxicity, and this club is just an absolute stinking mess. And what has come out today from Chris Wheeler in the Mail, it just sums it up for me. But feel like you and agreed. You guys got into the Champions League. You had to sell players, right? You literally had to sell players, and then you got in a coach, Emery, who's worked wonders, right? Emery, for me, I would take him. I'd take him every day of this week, but there's no point, because the difference is Aston Villa have got players who are driven. Aston Villa have got players who want to play for the fans. Aston Villa's have got players who want to play for the pride of themselves. Aston Villa have got players, and it shows. It shows. United is an absolute disgrace. We can't be consistent with shitty players, or rather with players who don't want to play. The Glazers are fantastic owners. Okay, Mike. Of course, my friend. Mike, you don't believe that, my friend. We can't even get the formation right. We've been playing this formation for over 30 games, and yet it's still like we don't know what we're doing. So let's get into what the players have said, because I'm going to get into it. I've been holding it off because let's see what happens. Says what if we sign Ramos? Look, right. I'm not going to call that opinion out, right? But all I'm going to say is, what the fuck is Ramos going to do? What is Sergio Ramos going to do to this club? Is Ramos going to fix Amorin? Give me a second. Sorry about that. Some Wally banging on someone's door at like 11:15 at night. Absolute Wallies. Anyway. So let me go through chats before I sort of go. So look. The only thing I'm going to say, right? You can suggest to me, right? We're going to sign Messi. We're going to sign Cristiano. We're going to sign Mbappe. We're going to sign. Give me a second. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, for God's sake! Honestly, who bangs around at this time of night? Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I'm absolutely back. Apologies for that, but yeah, when there's people knocking around your house at like at 10 to 11 at night, you've got to go and sort them out. That's even worse. That's even worse than this shitty team right now. So look, apologies. I'm back. It's all been sorted. There's nobody there. I've clearly scared them off. Or I think what's probably scared them off is them listening about this shitty United team. So look, let me get back on to this. Aston Villa says yes. I feel like the Glazers are horror owners. We had a Chinese guy in the Championship before you almost destroyed the club. Get the Glazers out and let Amorin get the right players. I could not agree with you more, my friend. Manu TVFC Stadley. Sorry, we're AI Celtic. Mike says the Glazers have poured billions into the club, but a couple of crap results and they get thrown under the bus. Mike, come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Let me tell you, Mike, what's not going to happen, my friend. You're not going to get a rise out of me because I know the truth, my friend. I've lived this club since 1988. I know fact from fiction. I know whatever story that you're trying to tell, but if anyone is in the chat reading Mark's chat, just know that there's people like Matt who'd have to try to wind people up. Because I know the fact, because I know the facts and figures, Mike. There are other channels that you can speak to, and they'll go off on one and whatever else. But you're wasting your breath, mate. I would give Amorin more years to keep trying because getting a new manager is not guaranteed that we would make progress in any short. Let's just give him time. That's all. Agree with you. They run the club for money, not results. Glazers waste United's self-generated wealth and milk the rest for themselves. Well, the success of the club would also be in the interest as well. Yes, it would be. Jack said the only thing that will change operations at United is when they start spending their own money rather than receiving it. Let's get ready for another letdown tomorrow night. So, Six Buzz. Tomorrow night for me, I couldn't care less. The only thing I care about tomorrow night is you fans, is me. The only thing that I care about tonight is I don't give a fuck about the team tomorrow. I couldn't give a toss about the team tomorrow. Amorin, I don't care about Amorin tomorrow. I don't care about the team tomorrow. I care about a win. I care about a win for fans. I care about a win for the away fans, the travelling support that go and spend their hard-earned cash, those who pay your subscriptions to Sky, TNT. Those people who stay up to watch that match. The kids that will go to bed late. People's moods tomorrow. I hope the result tomorrow is for you guys. I don't give a shit about those players. I don't care what they do. I want them to turn up tomorrow, do their job, and fuck off. I want them to do their job. I've got no time for them. I've got no support. All I want them to do tomorrow is do their job. I want them to do their job. They will get no thank you from me. I want them to go out tomorrow and do their job for you fans. For people like you guys and me who pay our subscriptions, for people that buy their shirts. I don't buy my shirts from them. That support this team. I want them to go and do their job, their simple job for you guys. Mike says the Glazer family have been fantastic despite all of the negativity. They've put their money where their mouth is every window. Mike, Mike, I'm not going to look. I'm going to read your opinion. This is a channel where I read all opinions. Right? Just because I'm Glazers out, can't stand the Glazers. I can't stand this coach right now. Doesn't mean that I'm Amorin out. Because I respect your view, I'm going to read the comments out. And if people don't agree with you, that's fine. And if you truly believe the Glazer family are fantastic, I feel sorry for you, but that's your opinion. Stephanie says that knock a door run still happening. That's a blast from the past. No, it's somebody next door was knocking on someone's window indoors. So me being me, I've gone out there, because but there was nobody there. Red United Fox says, "What do I think about Gabriel?" Look, before I go off on these players, I think, look, it's too early to tell, right? Look, look, this club and I do watch the under 21s and 18s, right? Prospect wise, really, really fantastic. But he's 15 years old, and look, we can't be this club who are going, oh, we are looking for the next big thing. Look, the player, he could be the next fantastic player, right? He could be, but right now, these players are all we need to keep. But can we keep them? We've got a club who is toxic. If I was in right now, I'd go. Like, I want him to stay. I think he's a talent wise, he looks fantastic. But if I was him, I would go. I'd absolutely go. What soccer team do you support? I'm hoping all the shirts up there will tell you. I'm hoping that this badge will tell you. But um, proof is there for all to see. Mike, again, my friend. Look, I I humbly disagree with your view. The Glazers have never put a penny of of their own cash into the club, my friend. So I don't know. I don't know what you clearly don't know about this club. So you know. Hello, darling. Did you go dogging last night? I didn't. No, Mike, it's not their money. Look, Stephanie, I wouldn't waste your breath on Mike. I wouldn't waste your breath. Fixpost says Gabriel won't get a sniff. Unfortunately, not while Amorim's in charge. He'll be loaned out and we never see him again. Wolves will win. It's not going to surprise me. Sign Sergio Ramos. He's 17, but look what he's 17 years old, but look what United did to him. Reg said, I subscribed. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Mark Harris, legend. If you're Amorin in when he picks Ugarte over your main, you get the bum manager. Mark Harris, legend of the chat. Wave Cutter says we need to beat Wolves 4-0 to make a statement and push for the title. Wave Cutter, come on, mate. Come on. Come on, mate. Come on. Look, I respect that opinion, and I am going to go what was said tonight by Chris Wheeler in the Mail. Look, this isn't by some mug, right? This isn't by somebody on X. This is a respected guy from the Mail. When he talks, you listen, and yeah. We'll end up in 12th place. Like HDRKS, I've been saying the whole of this season that I think we'll finish somewhere between 8th and 10th. MM says if we lose, it will be the most embarrassing moment this year for a football club. I agree with you. I've been following United since '81 and fed up at this stage. Six Buzz, mate. Look, I look, this for me goes beyond Amorin in Amorin. Now, like Amorin for me is, I don't know what to say. Well, I do know, and once we've gone through this, I'll give you my opinion at the end of this. Yeah. Um, Michael says, I remember United Black Shark kit. I've got it. I've got it somewhere. I've got it. Yeah, I do have it. That was the 90. I think that was the 94-95 season. I think. We'll beat Wolves tomorrow. I hope so. Barcelona will get JJ. That's for sure. United, you will not see any more. Never in your life in the Champions League. Maybe. Rats, yes, I do agree. United are a big club, but they can't beat Grimsby. Look, mate, I was still Amorining, right? Look, I'm going to stop using that phrase because I think at the moment that's a really, really redundant phrase for me to use. I think it's more than that. But look, we lost to Grimsby, man. That we watched that game and it was utter dross. On the count says, what part of Manchester is that? On the counter, mate, it's basic. It's basic, my friend. Do you know how many times I've heard that? Do you know how many times that we've heard that? It's so basic. It's so basic. What's your opinion about Salah's situation? I'm not going to say too much on it because look, there are bigger things tonight with our club. Look, Hassan, can I be completely honest? You've asked me the question. I'm going to answer the question. I don't care, mate. I really couldn't care. Liverpool's troubles. We've got our own. We've got our own, right? And the Salah situation to me is not even on my blip, right? The look, Liverpool are a club not like us, because we are. Salah is coming to the end of his career. Well, not well, he is. He's coming to the back end, coming to the back end of his career, right? And it's time. It's time for him to go. Chester Blaster says, I need help. I'm at my wit's end. Hear me out, please. You really seem like a person that can help me. Something of an expert. I've been having rage bouts of explosive. Nice. Hilarious. What I would do is I'd go to the GP because that is a sign of something that's not good. Go and take some Imodium. That really tends to help me. But my first thing I'd say to you, my friend, is go to the GP because that is not good. Scott is in the house. Yes, JB. Stephanie says south of Manchester. No, it says yours smelly. Thanks, mate. Thank you. So look. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. Too much Imodium gives you, well, it depends, right? Do you want it firing out the back end, or do you want it to be like us? United are pretty much like a massive crap right now. Do you want it to keep on pouring out? JB, you need to give me that top. I know, mate. This top is I love it, and I do love the long sleeve as well. Absolutely perfect. So look, let's get into it. I've been avoiding this now for a while. Let's get into it because I'm just gonna lose my shit. Try walking instead of running. That's true. No says we had a chance to climb to top 4. The chances alone were a motivation to play well, but we wasted it. That coach has completely changed everything from the better to the worst. I'm a Bristol Rovers fan. You can tell me about crap football, although we did beat Grimsby, mate. I love the comment. I love it, mate. Absolutely love it. Mate, brilliant. So look, let's get into it tonight. So Chris Wheeler of the Mail, and he has reported that yes, Scott, I will be doing a watch along tomorrow for the game. So hopefully you can join me for that pile of shit tomorrow. And look, I'm just going to say this straight away so you know where I am. I don't give a shit about the game tomorrow. In terms of look, if we win tomorrow, look, Wolves have got 2 points. So fucking what if we win tomorrow? I don't care. I care for the fans. I care for these players to turn up and do their fucking job. Come here tomorrow and do your job. I don't care about you tomorrow. You get paid millions and millions of pounds. You're adored by this fan base. You're not adored by me. You're adored by these players. You're the most fortunate people in the world to play for this club. Do your job tomorrow and then fuck off home. And then come back the next game, do the same again, then piss off. My brother is a United fan, but he's also so mad about the results. How long have you been live? For about 35 minutes. There was a 5-minute spell whereby I did have to go and look for a weirdo outside, but what happened to the mood? A6, they've been replaced by an Adidas Paste. Don't quite, Jess. I remember, Jess. Yes. Those ones up there, those are Adidas. They are very, very good. You are right. They are quite thick. They are quite thick. Wolves wins. Jesse, yeah. So Chris Wheeler. Let's get into what's been said. So Chris Wheeler has basically come out and some of the players. You can take this how you want to have said this. The players feel the weight of what the ex-players. So these players Callum says Chelsea. Big up to the Chelseas. So Chris Wheeler says these players feel the weight about what ex-players say about them. So these players have come out and said we feel the weight about what ex-players have said about us. And that's why they don't give interviews to these ex-players. They also see the clips and it pisses them off. It sees the clips of people like Roy Keane, of, I don't know if Rio does it, but Keno, what Roy Keane says about them, what Neville says about them, what Scholes says about them. Callum says, I hate Arsenal. So these players have said the players feel the weight about what the ex-players say about them. They see the clips and it pisses them off. And in their view, they know that these ex-players should know what the pressure is of playing for this club. So they want a level of understanding, but they don't feel like they get the respect that they need. I mean, why don't you just go and fuck yourselves? I mean, these players, the players feel the weight of what the ex-players are saying about them. They see the clips and it pisses them off. Their view is that they know these ex-players should know the pressure for what it feels to play for this club. So they want a level of understanding, but how down they feel when they get this, when they receive this abuse. I mean, welcome to this fucking club. What a bunch of fucking low IQ, arsehole, slimy, backstabbing, horrible set of players. You are fucking millionaires who are some of the most fortunate people to play for this club. I'm not just this club, by the way. You are fortunate to play in the Premier League, and no matter the banter, right? We can all banter each other. It doesn't matter what club you play for. It doesn't matter if you're an Evertonian. It doesn't matter if you're Liverpool. It doesn't matter if you're Chelsea, right? You are lucky. You're fortunate to play for Premier League, right? And then when you come to a club like ours, and whether Chelsea fans, whatever it is, Spurs fans don't like the fact that United are the biggest club still, right? Historic club. In my view, there are only two, and I keep on, this is something that I will continue to say. There are two historic and different clubs in this league, Liverpool and us, right? And to play for these clubs is an honour. In my view, our club is bigger, and it's an absolute honour to play for this club. So when, after being shit for 18 months, probably even longer than that, Amorin, and we'll talk about him, he's part of this as well, but he doesn't say this. When you've got players who put out performances like a Grimsby, that's not on the coach. They don't turn up. They don't do. Look, these players don't do the simple things. So down the line, go fuck yourself. Do me a favor. Go and have a shit and fall down the toilet, you piece of shit. So look, when we've got players who can't even turn up to do the simplest of things, who can't even perform on the pitch, and we're not talking about the tactics here. We're not talking about a formation. We're talking about players coming onto the pitch and doing their fucking jobs, right? Just do your jobs, you lazy bunch of arseholes. And then you get criticised by ex-players who, if you look at those shirts behind me, right? If you look at those shirts behind me and who's worn those shirts, right? You look at that keeper shirt there. That was worn by Schmeichel, one of the best goalkeepers, probably the best keeper that we've had. Treble winning shirt worn by these people that fucking criticize you. That shirt there was worn by those players, by Scholes, by Neville, by Beckham, by Keane. That shirt there, worn by some amazing players, league winning, title winning shirts, and you've got the absolute, you absolute fucking waste of spaces. You're saying you're calling these winners out who've actually won stuff, right? They've actually won stuff. They know what it means to play for this club. They know what it means to win. They were under the most criticised manager, the most scrutiny of any players. Not only because of the things that they won, every single season, every paper in this land, every single season, there were expectations, not from the media, from players. Any players that come into this club had the likes of Palestine, Bruce, Schmeichel, Keane, Scholesy, Giggsy coming in to this team, and the pressure was on them from their own fucking players. And these waste of shitty players. And look, you can call Scammering out, right? But it's not the coach. This is not the coach. And these players tell you themselves. These players have said the players feel the weight about what the ex-players have said about them. They see the clips and it pisses them off. Fucking good. I hope you're pissed off, you bunch of fucking waste of space. Their view is that they know these ex-players, they know the pressure of this club, and they feel like they need some understanding. Oh, fucking hell. Oh my God, they feel the weight of this club. Oh my God, they're pissed off. They're pissed off because these ex-players are calling them out. Well, do something about it, you fucking wasters. I cannot stand these players. I know people are Amorin out, right? I get that, right? But all I'm saying is, what is Amorin supposed to do with these players? This is not Amorin saying that these players are pissed off because they're playing badly. They feel the weight of expectation to play for this club, and they need some understanding. Piss off. Absolutely piss right off. Because these players are scum players, and Superfly says, "Oh my God, it's not the coach. Are you mad? It's the tactics." Superfly, mate, these players, look, and I'm not going to call you out, mate. These players, how many managers have they sacked? I'm not disputing that Amorin probably needs to go. I am not disputing. I promise you, I am not saying to you that Amorin doesn't need to go. Amorin can fuck off, right? If Amorin plays the same team, the tactics tomorrow, I don't care if we win or lose. He can fuck off. But mate, the same players are going to be here. The same players are going to Chris Wheeler and saying, "Oh, the weight of this club is so hard." It pisses them off when people say things about them. They need some understanding, mate. Absolutely, just piss right off, and not you, my friend. Right, mate. Super, I guarantee you, that's total nonsense. I guarantee you. These players have sacked Ranić, Ollie, Ten Hag. Who? Why are these players suddenly going to be top 4 players? It is total nonsense. It is total nonsense. I guarantee you we'll be here again next year. If we get rid of Amorin, which Amorin will go, these players are still here. Mate, these players, it is coming out from these players' mouths. So, next one. So, Dalot. So, this is from his mouth. Okay, this is from his mouth, not from Amorin, from his mouth and not from the coach's mouth. He says, "I think we need to be a bit more obsessed about winning things for this club, winning games, winning trophies for the clubs. We are not going into we needing the time thing. So Dalot himself, not Amorin. He's talking about his teammates here. I think we need to be a bit more obsessed about playing for this club, or winning games and winning trophies for this club. Now, I'm not calling him out, by the way, because he's coming out and I think his intentions here are good. But listen to a United player talking about his team. I think we need to be a bit more obsessed about playing for this club, winning trophies for this club. I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, look, we know that Amorin's playing shit football. We know his tactics are absolutely dog shit. We know this. He's out of his depth, right? Do I want to give him time? I don't know. I don't know. But fundamentally, what I'm trying to say here is whether it's Amorin, Emery, or whoever else comes in to this club, we're talking about these players have come out and he's talking about his teammates. These players are not obsessed by winning. These players, they need to be a bit more obsessed about playing for this club and winning games and winning trophies for this club. I mean, these are our players. How has Amorin got any responsibility? And I'm not talking about tactics. I'm talking about how does Amorin have any responsibility for these players not being obsessed? How does Amorin have a problem with that? If you're not obsessed by winning for any club, fuck off. I've got no time for you. I absolutely despise these players. And then he says, I think we have to win straight away because that is the demand of the club. That is hunger. That we need to have a we need to win. I think we've shown this season that we can be very good and we can beat anybody. What a fucking pile of shit. I mean, he's saying there that I think I think this season we've been very good and we can beat anybody. What a load of bollocks. What a load of fucking nonsense. If you could have won, why didn't you win against Spurs? Why were you utter dog shit against Spurs? Why did you draw against West Ham at home? Everton at home. Why did you lose to them 1-0? We have not played very well all season. You've played absolutely shit. And look, you can blame the coach, and I do blame this coach. I absolutely blame this coach for these players. But how we've got players now coming out saying about their own, and this isn't me saying it. This is Dalot. This is a player. Look, whether or not I think he's been good or bad, he's got the balls to come out. And look, I absolutely respect that. I respect that. Look, he has thrown Amorin under the bus, but I actually respect. But again, whether he's fucking stupid or not to come out and say that because he thinks he's doing well, he's just exposed this club. He's just exposed these players for what they are. I think we need to be more obsessed about winning for this club, winning games, winning trophies for the club. And then going on to say, I think we've this season we've been very we've been a good team, but we can beat you can't beat anybody because if you did, you would do. Let me go back to the comments and look, guys, get into your comments. All I'm going to say is this, all right? I will read your comments because I do respect the comments, right? We can all have a different view on this. And look, I am not going to dismiss your claims, right? Because I understand that you're Amorin out, Amorin in, but this with these players now, look, it is look, whether you are Amorin in or out, to me, with what's come out today, I think it tells you everything that you need to know about his players. And look, if you don't believe it's these players, all I'm going to say to you is this: when Amorin gets sacked, because if Amorin gets beat tomorrow, Amorin gets sacked. It may not be tomorrow, it may be the next day, because if Amorin loses tomorrow, the roar from the roar from people will be enormous. We've got Bournemouth, Aston Villa. Aston Villa are a fantastic team. In in my view, Aston Villa are on a right now are on a push to win the league. We have got no chance. So if Amorin doesn't win tomorrow, you guys will get your wish. I'm in a Mumbai City fan. He's turtling badly. I used to laugh at use, but seems like karma's caught up. See the madness about Salah. Any picks? Yeah, I agree with you. If we lose tomorrow, that coach has to go since we cannot remove all the players. What if we gave this kind of chance to Wally? Players nowadays have so much power, and I hate it. Look, no, mate, I think that's a very, very sensible way to be. Look, I agree with you. Look, I I can't stand these players. These players have exposed themselves now. These players have exposed themselves. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, we get the criticism. Oh my God, these ex-players are so bad. Even though we get millions of pounds a year, we get hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, and we can't even do the simple fucking things. And I'm not talking about playing Amorin's shitty back three. I'm not talking about playing Amorin's shitty system, right? I'm not talking about Amorin, a coach who is so stubborn he will not refuse to change. That's on him. But I'm talking about these players who cannot turn up. Why do you need a manager? Why do you need a manager to tell you to do your fucking job, right? I go to work. This isn't my job, right? I go to work. Why do I need my manager at work to tell me to work? Why do I need my coach to tell me the basic things to do, like turn up, do my job, do the job to the best of what I can? A manager should be there as a guide, right? A manager shouldn't be there to tell you to run about. It's not Amorin's job. It is not Amorin's job to tell these lazy wasters, right, that their job is to run around and tackle and do the basics. It's not Amorin's job to tell these players to put in more effort. Your manager at work will not tell you every little intrinsic piece of thing to do. He's not going to tell you, oh, can you pick up that pen? Can you actually do some work today, you lazy shit? If you go to work and you can't be bothered, that's on you. That's not on your coach. That is not on your boss. That is on you. If you're a lazy bastard when you go to work, how is that on your manager? How is that on your company? That is on you. Where is your professional pride? And these players, and look, Amorin sets them out. That's on him. But they can't be bothered. That is not on Amorin. I don't give a shit. That is not on Amorin. Amorin shouldn't need to tell these players, can you run a little bit more? Can you please do the basics? That is not on him. That how he talks, don't like it. Um, Adam saying, yeah, Adam, yeah, Scott's right. Adam, you can go and fuck yourself. Tell them, Scott, we don't do any. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we said that. We need to play Ahmad. Ahmad does play. Heavy is the crown, but look at Rashford and Anthony doing a lot better. The truth, look, for me right now, these are the small things, right? Look, Anthony wasn't very good. Rashford didn't want to be here. And the truth is, we're not going to know, are we? We are not going to know. Well, look, I'm just going to say this now, right? That this club is awful, right? You look at the players that leave. I've got no defence right now of these players and of these clubs. I've got no defence. We know what this club is. Look, let's just talk about Amorin, right? Let me get through the chat and we can talk about the coach as well. If we replace him now, that was the season. It's going for all clubs, or we can steal it. And look, my friend, look, I do not disrespect your opinion. Okay, I am not calling it out. Look, DJ, my friend, if we could get in a coach right now that could get these. Look, if we could get in a coach right now, and these players decided to play, I still want these players gone. Right, I still want these scumbags. I can't. I'm done with these players. Right. But if we can get a coach to get a tune out of these players, right? And because look, I am not look, now. I don't care if Amarin's in or out right now. I don't care because Amarin right now has shown he's weak. Look, as much as I really want a manager to survive, I'm not Amarin in or Amarin out. I want a manager to come in and do well. So if we turf him out and we get Emery in, not that Emery's coming by the way, but if we got him in, I'd want him to succeed. I just want a manager to come in here and be given time. And then if we got to tune out these players, and if we were to finish fourth, boot them out. I don't want them here. I can't stand them. The truth says, what do you think about Salah pulling a Ronaldo? Mate, look, it's not my club. Salah. I think it's time. I think it's time to part ways. If I was him, I would try not to taint the legacy that I built at that club, Liverpool. For it's banter up and down, but look, if I was him, I wouldn't burn the bridges. But look, you know, and who the DJ there? The manager isn't the problem. A CR7, PSV, Salah, no, Norwegian, nobody. Can believe you let McSauce leave. Good on Salah. He's been made the scapegoat slot. Another one that ain't the right man for the job. He lived on Klopp glory. Salah is definitely frustrated. I think Liverpool are missing Arnold. Hunger Games needed. City's bigger than United for the last 10 years. Now, look, all I'm going to say on that, look, I don't agree with you. City are relevant. United are not. United are bigger than City. Look, those are facts. We've had this conversation before, and look, it is not my job to try to convince you of anything else other than give you my view and you guys give me your view. If you think that City are bigger than us, factually, it's not true, but it's up to you. So Dalot doesn't show hunger at all. He's talking shit. I do agree. Who gives an S about Salah? It's just news from Six Buzz. I agree. McTominay and Fred showed more heart than Bruno. I'd rather have them back and sell him. Let's have a look. Notice Fergie isn't even staying at home. We definitely messed up getting rid of McTominay. I was replying to whoever mentioned Salah. A little look. United is a holiday camp. Stephanie, you're so right on that one. Oh, sorry, I came late. Just hit 40. Just hit 40 subs. Palace Edits. Welcome, my friend. Legend and congratulations. We all want the best for our club at the end of the day. Exactly. Yes, mate. Get rid of those plonkers. Let's have a little look. Real Madrid, Arda Turan. Don't know. Mitch says hi. United guy. Hello, Mitch. Legend, my friend. Talk is cheap. Action speaks louder than words. Finaled. Stephanie Scott. People dematerializing. It's criminal how many points Scammerins' stubborn tactics have cost us, and if the players don't do what he wants, he drops them like Manu, who should be staying at. And look, I think all opinions tonight, whether I think there's a collective blame here, right? Look, Amorim is only part of the problem, in my opinion. The Glazers are the biggest issue. Ineos are the biggest issue. Players are the biggest issue. Amorim is an issue, right? who is going to go? Amorin, right? So whether or not I like it, whether or not you Amorin in or out, you are going to get your wish. Because if United draw or lose tomorrow, you guys will get your wish. I'll be sad. I'll be sad that another manager has been burnt. I'll be sad that these play. And again, look, imagine this: if Amorin does get sacked, right? Why does Luke Shaw get away with it again? How many coaches is Luke Shaw through? What? Van Gaal, Jose, Ollie, Ranić, Ten Hag, Amorin. He would have been through 5 or 6 coaches. Why does Luke Shaw get to stay? Why does Maguire get to stay? Now, why do these players get to stay? Why does Fernandez get to stay? Look, all I'm saying is that whilst look, and again, I will come on to Amorin because we can talk about the game tomorrow as well, and I've got a lot to say on that as well. So look, please get in your comments. Amorin is playing certain players out of position, so it's the and look, 6 buzz. I agree. Look, I agree. I don't disagree with it, my friend. Dalot talks a good game but can't play a game, and Bruno are terrible. At this point, mate, he's just winding you up. Guardiola's style of play and culture has destroyed football, and people's heads. Every team wants to play like Pep. Every player now has to do what the coach wants. No creativity at all. How we lose tomorrow, he needs to go. Don't lower your standards because of this trash manager. Look. So, I mean, what? Look, for me, the sad thing for me is this: everybody, the manager is the scapegoat here, right? The manager is the patsy, right? What about these players? Like, nobody is calling for these players' heads. And look, I absolutely know it is a redundant point that these players are not going to go because you can't sack these players. But this manager, and I'm not just talking about Amorin, I'm talking about the managerial position. I'm talking about the managerial position. It's the managerial position that's always takes the blame. And look, I will read this again. Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail. Look, he's not going to put this shit out. He's not going to put it out because he'll get sued to buggery. Like he can't put stuff out that's kind of not true because you get absolutely sued. Because then what he'll do is he'll just go to the club and say, look, this is where I've got the source from. So he's not going to put it out. And you know it's true because otherwise the club would take him to court, which they won't do. Now, Chris Wheeler's basically said this: the players feel um, the weight of what the ex-players have said about them. They they see the clips and it pisses them off. Their view is that the ex-players know the pressure of playing for this club, so they want a level of understanding to how they feel. I mean, this is coming from players. This is not Amorin. This is the players feel like, oh, we feel the weight of the ex-players. Oh my God, this is so difficult. The pressure. Welcome to the club. What understanding do they feel that that they need to get? It makes my blood boil. Not your opinions on here. Look, you can listen to me and you might think to yourself, shut up, you prat, right? No issue at all with that, right? You can love these players, you can hate the manager, you can hate the players, you can love, like, but these are players of this club, right? The reason why this club exists is because of us, right? Listening to this, okay, is the reason why we are successful. Just look at those shirts behind me. That's all I'm asking you to do. And look, I'm not asking for Fergie here. I'm just asking you to look at those shirts, right? Those shirts behind me are of players who gave blood, sweat, and tears for this club. And I'm not talking about Cantonars. I'm talking about the Paul Parkers, right? These players that people don't really know. I'm talking about the McClares, the Robsons, the Kanchelskises, the O'Sheas, the Parks, the Silvers. I'm talking about the Nicky Butts. I'm talking about the Van der Gaals. I'm talking about these players who didn't mind being second string to this club. Ollie was the biggest, probably one of the most unselfish players you could meet. He knew that he was a substitute, knew that sometimes he'd start, knew sometimes he would play his part, and he did. Never moaned, never whinged, came to the club, got on with it. Fortune, a player from South Africa, right, comes to the club, no one knows him, servant. Like, we are littered, we have a litany of these past players who played in these shirts, who knew the weight of this club, who constantly got criticised by their own players, by the coach, by the media. For fuck's sake, David Beckham, after the World Cup, got absolutely fucking destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. And you're talking about, not only are you talking about the pressure from the whole country booing you every game, hating your guts, and I mean properly hating your guts, not only having to deal with that and then to come back to this club and deal with the pressure of trying to win the league. And these players are talking about the weight, these ex players, it pisses them off. I don't give a fuck. Piss off yourselves. Go. I can't stand these players. And then, look, we're talking about Amorin here, and I will get on to that. But what cannot be disputed are these players are not doing the simple things. They're not playing for this club. I don't care if Amorin goes and they don't play for him. I don't care. You play for us. You play for the badge. These players don't own these shirts. These players are renting these shirts. I've been saying this for the longest time. The Glazers, these players are just custodians of this club. And I've been saying custodian for the last 5 months. That is all they are. They are here for a limited time. And none of these players, are you going to be singing in 10 years' time? Are you going to be singing, I don't know, these players' names? No, you're not, because they're not immortalized, because we know exactly what they are. Let me go through these. Gina says, I still think we should pursue Klopp. I don't care if he's an ex-Scouser. He's the only one that'd be perfect for the job, Prem experience, and he's flued up. DJ, I think that's an interesting opinion, my friend. He's trash. No, the club in the league would take him. This coach is not up to scratch in this league. What's up with the facial hair? Just my face, mate. If you don't like my face, I don't care. When it's 115 gonna happen, mate? I think 115 happens when hell freezes over. James has called 3-day stubble. Must not be old enough to shave it. His chin doesn't have. No, it does, mate. It's just white. James, it does, my friend. It's just white. I basically am grey, right? I'm grey and white, and my beard is white as anything. So imagine United getting a strike outside the league. This is funny, sir. Alex could buy players in the league, players who have already proven themselves. It is true. It is true. But he did buy the likes of Ollie. Forlan wasn't a successful player, but but look, there is a reason why Fergie bought Premier League proven players. Rasmus scored 2 goals tonight, and today proves United makes players worse. City will probably go and do what we could not do if they had a proper manager. Are you blind? Don't know, mate. Don't know, mate. James, I have no idea. You're not making sense, my friend. I've honestly never seen facial hair. James, it doesn't matter, mate. It doesn't matter. Mate, it grows. It literally is just the color of my beard. Look, mate, it's not my fault if you're envious of the beard. You know, Ruben is the whole issue. Nothing less. I never see anyone blind as you if you don't like it. Mark says another manager sacked, but sure is still there. Mark Andrew, mate, I am with you on that one. What does it mean if Wolves get their first win? Um, it means that Amorin is gone. I mean, look, let me give you my opinion now, right? Look, as you all know, or many of you do, I am manager in, and what I mean is I'm not Amorin in. I'm not necessarily Amorin out. What I am is I want a manager to come in and succeed, right? But after what's come out today, after what his players have said today, okay, Amorin has got one more chance against Wolves to basically show that he's got some backbone. Okay, if Amorin comes out knowing what has been said by his players, knowing what some of his players have actually said, knowing what he has said in the media. Okay, if Amron comes out tomorrow with the same back three, the same wing backs, the same shitty pivot, the same tens, he can fuck off. I will have no respect for this manager, because if you come out with the same team, the same players that are throwing you underneath the bus. It's basically like finding out your husband or wife is seeing someone else, and you ignore it and you take them back and you just continue, but you know they are cheating on you, and you just sort of go, oh, right, okay, right. If Amarin wants to survive and gain any respect, because it is coming to this point now where the respect is just gone, right? If Amron tomorrow, I don't care if we win or lose tomorrow, and people come bang on about, oh, we're a point beyond fourth. It's fucking Wolves. It is Wolves. They've got 2 points. Of how shitty we've been, it doesn't matter. If we beat Wolves tomorrow, it means jack shit, because we're playing Wolves. If Amrin draws or loses tomorrow, he can piss off for me, because he gets one more shot. And if Amrin comes out tomorrow, whether we win, if Amrin comes out tomorrow and plays these plays for me, there is no respect from me left, because how can you let these players batter you? How can you let these players let you down time? You've got Mainu sat on the bench. You've got Lacey sat on the bench. Ugarte, look, Ugarte's crap, but he sat on the bench playing. You've got these bringing the youth players. These players, mate, are bending you over, and you're just taking it. You are taking it game after game after game. And yes, I know you've got limited amount of players. I don't care. Bring in, take these Fernandez, just get him out of this team. Luke Shaw, get him out of this team. Dalot, mate, has done you twice this week. Dalot has done you twice. If you play that Portuguese prick, you are fucking done. So look, as much as I want him to succeed, he is now he's basically done this to himself, and I've got no sympathy now for any of them. I've got no sympathy for a coach who who can't learn. He is inexperienced, completely out of his depth. I think somebody said it on here. He's like a rabbit in fucking headlights. He has no idea. He doesn't adapt. He plays the same plays that chuck him under the bus every single game. I've got nothing else to say about him. I've got nothing else to say about him. Tomorrow is change. If Amron doesn't change this team tomorrow, then there's no point. There's no point in him being here. It's just 0 point. Super, Superfly says, I agree, but if Amrin would have adapted to get points, which was clear to see, could have done, then we wouldn't be. agree with you, then he wouldn't be getting the blame. He hasn't shown us anything other than scammer and ball. No says Bruno out of position, striker so lazy, no left or right back who can play good crosses, no cohesiveness, no fear, bunch of thieves, I guess, earning much, doing little. Bernardo says hi. Everyone has called for these players' heads, but the structure isn't working to get them. They should all go. Ineos, Glazers, Amorin, and the players. Look, mate, switch. I agree with you. I agree with you. I would purge everybody from this club. And we're talking about players. I'm ranting about these players tonight purely because of what they've come out with. The fucking cheek of these players, right? Amorin, Amorin, Amorin can get it as well because Amorin is just Amorin is just he's just out of his depth. But this is all thanks to the Glazers, Ineos. This is all thanks to them. They can all go. This club is a mess. I didn't think that we could fall further, but we have. We've absolutely fallen further. Most of these players are crap compared to the previous legends of this club, but no excuses for the way they play. But Scamming's tactics haven't helped, which is supposed to be his job. I think Wilcox and Barada are in trouble because they kept Eric Ten Hag and they panicked to get Amorin midway and didn't back him. They should have gone best in class. My arse switch, mate. I'm agreeing with you, mate, on this. Jesus Christ. Yeah, well done, mate. Do you know the Statue of Liberty in New York? Yep. Blah blah blah. I like beans on toast. We'll go and have some beans on toast then, and leave the leave the leave the chat for the adults, mate. I know for a fact I could get these players playing better and expressing themselves with a better chemistry than Scammering does. It's not hard. He doesn't know what he's doing. Howard Sane says, "What's the play said today?" Oh, okay. Do I want to go through it again? Okay, look, I'll go through it again. Okay. So Chris Wheeler's basically come out and said the players have said this. The players feel the weight of what the ex-players have said about them. They see the clips and it pisses them off. Their view is that the ex-players should know the pressure of playing for this club and they want a level of understanding, but they feel like they don't get it. I mean, like what? Every time I read it, it just makes my blood boil because these players who feel the weight of this club and it pisses them off. I mean, how do they think we feel? Like, how do these players think that we feel? How do these players think that we feel about watching this pile of crap? And I'm talking about Amber and I'm talking about the players here. How do they think that we feel watching these waste of space, these scammers, right? And then trying to call out ex-players who've won stuff. Many of them have won a treble. Many of them, Scholes, he's won what, 13 leagues? Like, many of these players have won multiple leagues, 10, 12, but however many leagues it is, right? And they're pissed off with legends of the club criticizing them. Legends of the club who knows what it takes to play for the club, knows what it takes to win for this club. And these fucking prima donna, overpaid, moaning children. And I wouldn't, you know what? And that's an insult to children. That they feel so entitled and so they piss us off. They're not supporting us. They should come and help us. It just baffles me. And then the other thing was, so after the Crystal Palace match, Wilcox was caught and he basically was asked, what are you going to do to fix the side? And Wilcox said, trust the process. You need to trust in the process. Wilcox, mate, you can fuck off as well. I mean, what have we got here? We've got a manager who is out of his depth. We've got players who are just backstabbing, awful, scummy players. We've got a Omar Barada, Wilcox, best in class, who haven't got a clue. You know, why would you go out to a Portuguese league, go to a Portuguese league and hire a manager with no experience in this league who plays a different formation to anything that we've ever played, knowing what these players have done, and you're expecting a result. And not only that, but not backing him. Whether we like it or not, Amorin needs specialist players. That is not Amorin's fault, by the way. If if you bring in, if you buy a car and you buy and let's just say you go and buy a rare Porsche, right? You go and buy a Porsche from 1960s, right? And you go and find parts. So you go and find parts from a Focus, Fiesta, and you try to stick him in the car. They sort of work, but then you moan that that the car's shit, right? And then the person that is in charge of the car, who takes the car out, then it's their fault that basically was underneath the hood is crap. The fucking mechanic is the issue, and the mechanic is Omar Barada and Wilcox. How can you hire a coach, a specialist coach, and Amrin has never hidden from that fact, right? How can you bring in a specialist coach? We've never played a back three before, and expect the players and the coach to be cohesive and work together. And yes, you can argue the fact that Amrin as a coach should be able to adapt. But Amrin was never that coach to start with. If you wanted that sort of coach, go and get one. But they never did. They knew he was stubborn. They knew that he needed specialist players. And look, is the fact that Amorin can't change it. Look, sometimes you go to a job, right? And you think that you can do the job, and you go there and you go, do you know what? I can't do it. You can't do it because it's beyond you. You can't do it because you're more experienced. You can't do it because you're inexperienced. It doesn't mean that in 4 or 5 years' time you can't come back to do that job. Amorin is clear. It's clear he's too inexperienced for this job. Is that his fault? No, it's the fault of the people that hired him. Scott says pivot. Yeah, how long do you think Amorin has? I think he's the dumbest manager in the world. Football today can't do the right thing. Look, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. Amorin is not dumb. Amorin is not dumb. The many things, in my opinion, that Amorin is and is not, he's dumb. He's not dumb. He's just not right, in my view, for this club. I don't think anybody's right for this club right now. You look at the players. You look at the players that we've signed. Cunha's suddenly a different player. Shesko. Of all the players, Dorgu, there isn't a player that we've signed that hasn't started off well and then been dragged down. Look, I disagree. I disagree. I'm not going to be piling on to a coach and start calling him dumb and thick, because he's not dumb and thick. He's just the wrong coach for this team. Pogba, the statue described 7. Yeah, free Fernandez. Travis, yes, free Fernandez, and he can piss off. Fernandez can absolutely go and piss off. Sir Jim, if you're watching, give me a month's trial in Scavering's job. What have you got to lose? DJ, mate, I don't disagree with you, my friend. You've got nothing to lose. What's been said, could you quickly? I have just covered it. The Premier League is crazy. Fernandez doesn't have to be free. It needs to be sold. Pogba is the best middle of the world. Sorry, I'm French. Look, Pogba can't even get into the Monaco side. Ronaldo is retiring next year. Bruno Fernandes should go to El Halal, otherwise he will destroy Portugal. Look, you could give me a gangster's pasty, and I'd rather have a gangster's pasty as a number 8 rather than Bruno Fernandes. Portuguese prick, sign Rodrigo. Look, you might as well at this point say go and sign Mbappe, go and sign whoever. It is not happening. The kit is Wolves colour. You jinxed for United win. So basically, what you're trying to say, okay, so basically, what you're trying to say is this: is because I'm wearing a United gold shirt, I've jinxed it. Never mind our shitty, wanky, awful, horrible players. Never mind our out of depth, um, stubborn coach is gonna be my fault, is it? All right. That's no way it need the same colour as well, mate. Gonda says must win tomorrow considering our key players are leaving. Who would your ideal manager be? Look, I don't know, mate. If I was going to pick somebody, like if I'm forced into this, right, because somebody will have to come and manage the club, right? If you want these players to stay and you want to buy into Ineos because they're going to be cheap, Emery, go and get Emery because I think he's Premier League proven. I think he could do something with these players for now, but don't forget these players will stab him in the back. But I think for now, unless you can get a world class player, sorry, a manager, unless look, actually, let me rephrase that, right? Unless you bring in players, unless Ineos are prepared to really back a manager and bring in players, unless they're prepared to get rid of Luke Shaw and those sorts of players, right? Go and get Southgate. Go and get Southgate because you're just putting this fan base through a bunch of shit. Just admit, Ineos, if you're not prepared to spend at this club, right? Admit that we are a mid-table club, we are a fallen, huge club, and go and get fucking Southgate because you might as well. There is no one, or the three managers are shit. We need to pay loads to get a decent one. Is the season? That's why we need to stick with Amorin. Wilcox, mate, you can f off as well. You're on fire tonight. Fair play. Thanks, mate. Best in class, more like best in arse. Ineos team, you are currently 12th and 8th. It tells you everything you really need to know. Nice fans warned us too. Exactly, they did. Tomorrow, I hope you win. Thank you, my friend. United win helps us stay up a little bit. Look, who knows tomorrow? Who knows tomorrow? Do you think United players feel entitled living off the past success? Look, I think they feel. I don't think they live off the past success. Well, I think they basically live on the club's past success. So what I mean is, when they play for this club, it's like, oh, we play for United, right? So it's basically a status symbol based on what was done in the past, right? They're entitled because they think they come to this club and they've made it. They've come to this club and the Glazers have let player power win. The Glazers have given them an entitlement that they've got to say in this club. They've given these players an entitlement because they've given them a ton of money. Imagine if somebody, let's just say at work, right, suddenly makes you are suddenly the highest paid person in your workplace. And I'm not just talking about the smallest, I'm talking about, let's just say you get double, right? You're suddenly going to be Barry fucking Big Nuts, right? You're going to walk around thinking, I've been paid the most, I am the best. And imagine your boss says, yeah, you can pretty much do what you like. You can call people out, I'm going to pay you a bunch of money. You don't really have to work that hard, you can just do it. you're going to walk around thinking you're fucking Barry Big Nuts. You're going to walk around thinking that you're the top dog, you're the fucking bee's knees. And that is what they've done. These players are entitled because they've got lackeys, they've got their agents, they've got their people around them saying, "Oh, you guys are so great. You guys are amazing." But what they don't have is they don't have a Roy Keane telling them what the fuck are you doing. Like they don't have a Beckham, they don't have a King, they don't have a Vidic, they don't have Robson. They don't have players. A Rooney. They don't have these players going. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is not your club. Sit the fuck down and do your job. So it's just an absolute mess of there's no experience there. There is nobody there with the balls to call these players out. Amorin doesn't have the balls. Amorin doesn't. And if when I see tomorrow, I see the same team again, it's it. You have a good manager. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't know. So Jackie says United are shit. Celtic, they don't win either. Dalot, for example, can't cross with the left foot. He only needs to work on it in training. In a month, he'll be able to cross with left players who are not evolving. These players don't do extra work. World, mate, I'll just say something to you, World, right? I'm not gonna disrespect your opinions, right? But you're saying that he can't cross with his left foot and he only needs to work in it. And in a month, he should be able to cross. Diogo Dalot is an international football player. He is a Premier League, multiple season Premier League player who is an international Portuguese player. And you're trying to tell me that he needs time to train on his left foot. Mate, come on. Mate, come on. Why isn't he doing this already? Why does he need a manager to say to him, "I, you know what, I've got this amazing idea, right? I've got this amazing idea for you, right? Why don't you go out on the pitch, right? And why don't you, before you go on the pitch, we've got that whole week off. We've got a whole week between games. Why don't you delay? Why don't you go outside and practice, right? Why don't you, because let's be fair, he's already probably had from pre-season till now. Why don't you? Why don't you? This is an amazing idea, right? Nobody's ever taught you to cross a ball before. I know, Delo. Let's go practice. I don't care if you get paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. I don't care if you play for Portugal. Nobody's ever thought about this. Why don't you get on that football pitch and start pinging some balls in? Start crossing some balls in. Come on, world. I mean, he's getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a year. He plays for Portugal. Are you telling me? Are you seriously suggesting that he can't cross a ball because he's not been taught to cross a balls? I mean, he can't look. He's a professional player. His house is probably bigger than my street. He's probably got a garden bigger than fucking Wembley. If he can't cross with his left foot, then why is he not practicing his left foot crossing? I'm sorry, mate. I can't. I can't, mate. I can't. Kenya and in Burma, we used to counter attack in football. They love the space, attacking low block. They don't shine as much. Hope you're all well. It's all your fault. It is, mate. I'm. Do you play EA 26? I'm at Spurs. I don't. I turn into a different religion on the 25th. Let's go through it. At least they will finish above Liverpool. Switch says we already need to follow the Emery model. Everyone wants us to follow the Arteta model, but it only works if the owners pull their weight. Emery has done wonders despite problems with the PSR restrictions. Switch, mate, I switch tonight, my friend. I would put you top of the class tonight. I think Switch, you're putting out some bangers tonight. Southgate should take the United job. Emery regenerated Martinez too. Tell me Amorin can do that. Malacia is only training. He won't get to play like Emery and back in the starting 11. I think Amorin needs an assistant, not someone to take over. Maybe just help him. Roy Keane. Um, I think Grace. I think if Amorin got time, I think he needs look Grace. Right, we've got players, right? So we've got players, Grace, saying this. The players feel the weight of what the ex-players say. They see the clips and they get pissed off, right? Can you imagine Roy Keane going in there? Roy Keane would rip him an arsehole. Can you imagine what these players would be like? They'd be knocking on Sir Jim's door. They'd be knocking on the Glazers' door saying, Roy Keane's been bullying us. Roy Keane's been telling us that we have to do work. Roy Keane's been shouting at us. Oh my God, we don't like it. He pisses us off because he makes us do extra work. Sir Jim, please help us. I just don't see the point because these players would just not respond. I'll get JB to send you a pic, Jackie. JB wants a Celtic top for Christmas. Well, if we get to 30,000, then I'll be giving away some tops. So come to Gala, haha, small team United. Bro, it's midnight. Yes, it is. United fans, send me an England top. I've not had one for ages. 1932. Shut up about Dalot. Now, Dalot, look. All I'm going to say, Grace, about that, I'm going to give you some words from him, by the way. So he said, I think we need to be more obsessed about players, about winning. He says, I think we need to be a bit more obsessed about players playing for the club, winning games, winning trophies for this club. He's not going to use the excuse of a time thing. He then says, I think we've played well this season. We can be a very good team, but we beat like any team. Those are Dalot's words and not mine. I'm not blaming him here, and I actually give him a bit of credit. Actually, I don't know whether it's credit on purpose or I don't know if he's been a little bit thick. But look, he's basically coming out and basically saying, you know, he thinks these players need to be a bit more obsessed about playing for this club. It tells you everything that you need to know. You've got a player here who is coming out and basically saying that he thinks his teammates need to be a bit more obsessed. You know, what is he doing? You know, he threw Amorin under the bus with the comments on Mainu. He's now throwing his teammates under the bus. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm so confused right now. I'm so confused right now. Midnight watching him. What have we got? Dalot knows how to cross. Is just a shit manager playing him on the wrong side. Have you discussed Mainu wanting to bail out of the transfer window? Look, Rick, I don't blame him. Like I don't blame Mainu. I don't blame Mainu. I mean, look, it's a toxic mess. If I was Mainu, I'd be just like, look, just fucking leave me go because you're not playing me. You are ruining my season. Let me go. If I was Mainu, I would be pushing for a loan. Amorin out. Former Kaifa says, this is what I've been saying to everyone. If Forest can play once a week and be in the top four for most of last season, then what the F are these players doing? The way that way replying to the shirt comment. 1-0 inverted wingers to inverted wing backs. Charisma was a different level when you're playing players on the wrong side because you wanted to cut in and hit on the wrong foot. Ishmael says, everything JB, can you name 3 players that have improved under Amorin's watch? I think Ahmad has. I think Ahmad has improved. I think okay. Ahmad. I think Ahmad is playing more. So let's not forget this. Ten Hag didn't want Ahmad to play. Okay, so Ahmad, Delict, as well. I think he's improved, hugely improved as well. Casemiro, no. Look, other than that, is look, I am not look, I am not defending Amorin here, right? I am not defending him. What I am saying here is that tonight, what cannot be disputed tonight, and you can if you feel like you sort of have to, is these players. What these players have said. Look, we Amorin will take care of itself, right? It's these players. It's these players. It's this toxic club. Right now, in my humble view, there is no manager who's going to come into this football club and really, okay, there's no manager that we can get now that is going to come into this club and get a tune out of these players. I meant reintegrate, not regenerate. That's cool, my friend. Did Dalot say anything about me? He said Grace. He said can you tell Grace that I love her, I want her, and can she find a way to contact me? Manu needs to grow a set between his legs and kick Amorin in between his. Xerxes, do you think if we lose tomorrow, he'll be sacked? I'll tell you. Look, I've been. Some of you will know, and Scott can back me on this one. I've been Amorin in for the longest time. After Grimsby, on the basis that I've seen enough of this team, I know what this team is, right? But the last couple of weeks, when I want a manager who puts the club before the players, who puts himself, who doesn't put himself before the fans. So what Amorin should have done is he should have said, look, I know I've got these players, right? They can't play the system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play these players at their own game, and I'm going to basically expose them, right? And I'm going to go to and play a sort of 4-3-3, and I'm going to expose these players. But what Amorin has done, game after game after game after game, and what's impounded it, he's had one game a week. He's kept on playing whatever I think of him. He's played Fernandez out of position. Stephanie says, good night, great show. Come on, United, just bloody turn up. Stephanie, legend, and thank you. He's played the same team. It doesn't matter what these players do. But for me, in these last 4 games, when you've got these players who let you down all season, you keep playing them. Everton was awful. West Ham, Palace was, I don't care what anyone says about that. Palace was a nothing win. And he's been playing the same team again. The players that let him down. He's been saying the same things over and over again. I can't ignore it. I don't want him to fail. But there's nothing that I can say or do. He's too stubborn. I think he's out of his depth. I want him to survive so much, but I just don't think he will. So tomorrow for me, the first red flag for me is if he comes out and he plays these players that have slagged him off, thrown him under the bus. For me, just go. Even if he beats Wolves tomorrow, what does that prove? It literally is like a big kid going up to a small kid, punching them in the face and going, ha ha, I am literally the best. Wolves have got 2 points. Wolves have got 2 points. If we cannot beat them tomorrow, even if we beat them tomorrow and Amorin puts out the same shit side of these players that have fucked him over, Amorin might go because you've not got the balls, you've not got the power. These players run this team. Your tactics are shit. You can't manage this team. It's time. It's time. So look, Amorin tomorrow has for me has to do something different tomorrow. We will see tomorrow. And if Amorin loses tomorrow, he's got to go. He's got to go. Switch says he won't be, but he should be in trouble. There won't be anyone good to replace him. United fan is turning into Ten Hag with the press conferences. At least Ten Hag won his trophies and would have won more. So look, guys. On that note, I am going to go. Look, thank you guys for being here. Tonight was a show that I wanted to do all day long. I think more than ever. Look, for me, I am really more confused. I'm more confused on the basis that just when I think this club, these players, this manager can't get any more toxic, we get this piece coming out from Chris Wheeler, and we've got players now who are vocally, who are not just behind closed doors, but are now calling out a manager. And not only are they calling out a coach, they're calling out ex-players. I mean, what entitled wankers call out ex-players? Ex-players who have won trebles, who have won multiple trophies, FA Cups, Premier Leagues, and they are calling. Oh, and yes, Lando Norris as well, absolute legend. Well done to him as well, because it's not often that we get another UK champ. And what's really, really good about that as well is he's one of those guys and kids who was touted as being the next big thing, and he is. So look, massive congratulations to him. Graham, legend. Mockermeisters, where are you? All come and say hello. Graham, absolute legend, my friend. Who's going to win the league? City or Villa? Look, I hope it's Villa. Villa, people don't know Villa and how good they actually used to be. Look, purely from a selfish perspective, I want Villa to win. City winning another league, just means that it just, for me, City winning the league. Look, and I'm going to be honest here. There is no point in me lying, right? If City win another league, Pep is catching up. Your players, if City win the league now, are catching up to some of our players. So I don't want City to win the league because it just makes the conversation about City worse for us. So let's go. Scott says, I hope he starts Leon tomorrow instead of Dalot, Kobe instead of Bruno, De Ligt to come back in Euro, and Martinez. Arsenal second again. No, second again. I love it. So look, guys, I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a watch along tomorrow. So hopefully you can join me tomorrow and we can commiserate together. We actually had some really interesting conversations on the last one. Was nothing about the game, by the way. Seems it's Villa all the way. Emery very underestimated. Yeah, I really hope that they can do it. Arsenal could be three in over a week and a half. So look, I will be back tomorrow. I'll do a watch along, and then straight after I will do the match opinion as well. That could be explosive. I'll probably do an afternoon show as well. Scott, mate, don't ever apologise, my friend. Could be, I'd rather they stayed ahead of City. Exactly. So guys, I will be back tomorrow. Probably an afternoon show, morning one if I can fit it in. I will be doing a watch along tomorrow night, and then my match reaction afterwards. Let's see. So look, guys, have a fantastic rest of your early morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Look, guys, I cannot thank you enough, right, for the support. you come on here, like, I know we have our different opinions. We don't always have to agree. That is the best part of this. I read out your opinions because I do respect them. If I, if I sort of not come back on them, but if I comment, it's just because I just do respect the opinion. And guys, it's really, really important that when we come together, we have our views. You're able to come here and air your views as well in a place that you're not going to get told to piss off, right? So so look, guys, you two enjoy the show. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for being here and your comments tonight, mate. You're the teacher's pet tonight, mate. Switch. Love the comments tonight, my friend. Scott says, if not start the song early or you can't get on during the morning or afternoon. Yes, yeah. So I will probably do, and I'll probably try and start about 7:30. But look, guys, you are amazing. And yeah, thank you for being here, legends, as always. I'm going to say this: we need to win tomorrow. I'm not going to big up the players tomorrow. I'm not going to big up the manager. I want to win for us. I want to win for us tomorrow. I want to win so we can at least have some sort of joy. I want a comfortable win tomorrow. I take no pleasure. Late show score prediction. I'm going to go for a nervous win. I think because we have to. I think we'll go for a nervy 2-1, 2-0 win. I don't think it gets better. I don't think it does. So I've got to go for a win because I want a win for us fans. So I think it's going to be a very, very nervy game. I think they may score first, and I think it's going to be a very, very nervy 2-1 win. Hopefully I'm wrong, but look, I want to win tomorrow. I don't want to win for the players. I don't want to win for a league position because that's going to be false. I don't want a league for the coach. I don't want to win for the coach to stay. I don't want to win for the players. I don't want to win for a league position. I want a win tomorrow for us fans. If we don't win against Wolves tomorrow, I think we can say we're miserable as we did against Grimsby. Agreed. I agree completely. Just hope these plays don't cost us 2 or 3 points like they have done. It will be like the Palace game. I think it will be. Scott said that we will walk in the park. I think we'll turn up. Tiger King, I'll answer that very, very quickly. What do you think to what Mo Salah has said? I don't care. Look, and again, look, I thank you for being here. Thank you for your opinion, but I don't care. What Salah does, I'm not bothered. It's probably his time to go. He's given more than he's been paid a lot more. He's done things with them. He's won leagues, European leagues. Salah has done enough. If Salah wants to go, it's his time to go. Done and dusted. Exactly. So, look, guys, I will be back tomorrow. Legends of the chat, I really do appreciate you being here. This channel is nothing without you. Absolutely, it doesn't exist. So thank you so much again, guys. So you're all legends. I will be back tomorrow. A Switch says those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. We're not in the place to tell Liverpool how to do things. It's true. We're not exactly that. We're not. So guys, legends of the chat, have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.